The settlement on Cathara 7 had been a mistake from the start. Everyone knew it, but no one wanted to admit it. The planet's twin suns created unpredictable weather patterns, and its indigenous life had evolved with a ferocity that made Earth's apex predators look tame by comparison. Anna wiped the rain from her visor as she made her final rounds of the perimeter fence. 3 months into the colony's establishment, and they were still finding holes in their defenses. Not from the adult Kethra, the 6-legged, razor-clawed creatures that the xenobiologists had classified as the planet's dominant predators, but from scavengers, weather damage, and their own hasty construction. "Anna, you should head back," Leo's voice crackled through her comm. "Storm's getting worse." She glanced at the darkening sky. The purple-tinged clouds were rolling in faster than predicted, and the rain had turned from a drizzle to a downpour. 5 more minutes. I'm almost done with Section 7. Famous last words, Leo muttered, but he didn't push further. He knew her well enough by now. That's when she heard it. A sound that didn't belong to the wind or rain. A high-pitched keening, almost like a child's cry, but with an underlying growl that sent primal warnings shooting up her spine. Anna froze, her hand instinctively moving to the plasma pistol at her hip. The sound came again, closer this time from just beyond a cluster of the planet's crystalline rock formations. She should have called it in, should have waited for backup, but something in that sound, something vulnerable and desperate, made her feet move forward instead. Behind the rocks, huddled against the storm, were 4 Kethra cubs. Anna's breath caught. She'd seen adult Kethras from a distance, massive creatures with armored hides and jaws that could crush steel. These cubs were smaller, about the size of earth wolves, but already showing the distinctive 6-legged structure and the ridge of spines along their backs. Their fur was matted with rain, and their bioluminescent markings, usually bright enough to signal their mood, were dim and flickering. They stared at her with 6 eyes each, pupils dilated in the storm's darkness. One of them, the smallest, took a step toward her and made that keening sound again. "Anna, you there?" Leo's voice was tinged with concern now. She didn't answer. Couldn't, because the cubs weren't attacking. They were shivering. The xenobiology reports had been clear. Kethras were cold-blooded, requiring the planet's intense sunlight to regulate their body temperature. In weather like this, without the heat of the twin suns, these cubs wouldn't last the night, and there was no adult in sight, which meant they were orphaned or abandoned. The logical part of Anna's brain screamed at her. These were predators. Dangerous, unpredictable. The colony had strict protocols about contact with indigenous life, especially apex predators, but the human part of her, the part that had grown up, rescuing stray dogs and nursing injured birds, saw only 4 terrified babies dying in the— "Oh, damn it," she whispered. Anna slowly knelt down, making herself smaller, less threatening. She unzipped her thermal jacket, standard issue for human colonists, designed to retain body heat in any environment. The warmth immediately began escaping into the freezing rain. "Come on," she said softly, holding the jacket open like a shelter. "It's okay. I've got you." The smallest cub moved first, its instincts overriding its fear. It stumbled forward on unsteady legs and pressed against her chest. The heat radiating from her body made it chirp, a sound of pure relief. The others followed, one by one, until all 4 were huddled against her, their cold bodies seeking the warmth only a mammal's metabolism could provide. Anna wrapped the jacket around them as best she could, feeling their rapid heartbeats against her ribcage. "Anna, your vitals just spiked. What's going on?" Leo's voice was urgent now. "I'm okay," she said, her teeth starting to chatter as the rain soaked through her shirt. "Just helping some locals." There was a pause. "Locals? I'll explain when I get back. Send a thermal sled to Section 7. "A sled? Anna, what?" "Trust me, Leo." The journey back to the settlement took 20 minutes that felt like hours. The cubs stayed pressed against her, their bioluminescent markings gradually growing brighter as her body heat warmed them. By the time the sled arrived with Leo at the controls, Anna was hypothermic and the cubs were purring, an odd, rumbling sound that vibrated through her entire torso. Leo's eyes went wide when he saw what she was carrying. "You've got to be kidding me." "Medical bay," Anna managed through chattering teeth. "They need heat lamps, and I need about 5 blankets." The colony's commander, Dr. Yates, was furious at first, but as the cubs recovered under the heat lamps, something remarkable happened. The xenobiologist noticed that the cubs' bioluminescent patterns weren't random. They were communication. Complex communication. Over the following weeks, as Anna spent time helping care for the cubs during their recovery, patterns emerged. The cubs could understand tone, gesture, even simple commands. They were intelligent far more than initial assessments had suggested, and they remembered Anna. The smallest one, which she'd secretly named Spark, would light up whenever she entered the room, its markings flashing in what the team came to recognize as joy. 3 months after the rescue, an adult Kethra appeared at the settlement's edge. The entire colony went on high alert, weapons ready, but the creature didn't attack. It simply sat down and waited. Anna, against every protocol and over Dr. Yates's strenuous objections, walked out to meet it. The adult's bioluminescent markings were pulsing in a complex pattern. Beside Anna, one of the cubs, Spark, began responding with its own light show. A conversation in a language of light. The xenolinguist, Dr. Patel, was furiously taking notes. This is incredible. They're not just communicating, they're negotiating. The adult Kethra looked at Anna with its 6 eyes. Then slowly it lowered its massive head in what could only be described as a bow. "I think," Dr. Patel whispered. "You just made first contact, Leo." Standing beside the settlement gate with a plasma rifle he hoped he wouldn't need, shook his head in disbelief. Only a human would adopt the planet's apex predator. Anna smiled, watching as the cubs bounded between her and their guardian, bridging 2 species that should have been enemies. "We didn't come here to conquer, Leo. We came here to survive. Sometimes survival means opening your jacket even when it's raining." The adult Kethra made a sound, deep and resonant, like thunder rolling across mountains. Its markings flashed bright. Spark's markings flashed in response, then the cub looked up at Anna and chirped. Dr. Patel gasped. "That pattern? Anna, I think it just told its parent your name." That night, as the twin suns set over Cathara 7, the settlement's relationship with the planet's indigenous life changed forever. It started with 4 cold cubs, 1 human's compassion, and the simple truth that sometimes the most human thing you can do is exactly what logic tells you. Not. To the Kethra had a new word in their language of light, a pattern that meant one who shelters the young, regardless of species. They called it Anna, End.